Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Pirate, L, the six-eyed Susanoo, I am the strongest. Chapter 81. Chapter 65. Boya Hancock, you have a way to die. Reward, 100 million level bounty value plus 40,000 points. Current bounty value of 100 million level, 315,100 points. Another surge in bounty value. Kurosawa smiled slightly and said, System, keep adding more points to me. On the battlefield, a figure moved furtively. Moria looked at Kurosawa in the sky and his teeth itched with hatred. Kurosawa, he actually cut Whitebeard's body in half. But Marco seems to be even worse. He was cut into countless pieces, and I don't know if the hogback guy can be sewn back together. Phew, foo, foo. Where do you want to go? Behind Mariah, a pink figure quietly appeared. As Doflamingo's fingers tightened, Mariah's body was unable to move. What's going on? My body, why can't I move? Moria's face was ferocious, and no matter how hard he struggled, he couldn't move. He was so angry that he couldn't help shouting when he heard the laughter. Doflamingo, you fool actually attacked me. We are all Shichibukai. Foo 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 foo. If he's dead, isn't he dead? Doflamingo smiled ferociously and continued. The government will not avenge a dead person, let alone a pirate. Moria, foo-foo. Today's show was really enjoyable, but it's time to end. Just when Doflamingo was about to take action, click. The sound of a bullet being loaded came from not far away from him. Don't move, our captain has something to talk to you about. Doflamingo turned his head and glanced at the speaker. Are you Van Oka? Why are you here? Where is Teach? Also, who are you to be worthy of ordering me? After saying that, Doflamingo sneered and moved his fingers suddenly. Bang. ... Bullet, as promised, okay. Blackbeard Teach's eyes flashed with strong ambition. Looking at the messy Malinfando, he was already ready to make a move. Douglas Bullet didn't say much, but looked at the righteous figure on the execution platform with a somewhat fanatical look. You do your thing, just don't hinder me. Gia ha ha ha. That's exactly what it is. Whoa. There was a sound of breaking wind, and Bullet's figure disappeared. On the battlefield, boom, boom, boom. Although Whitebeard and several captains had been killed, it would still take a lot of time to kill nearly 50,000 pirates. Straw Hat Luffy kept dodging attacks from various elites. Under the influence of the will of the world, like a pair of invisible hands, he was sent to the execution platform step by step. Under the influence of this power, even a marine general with a level of combat power would not be able to kill Straw Hat Luffy with one blow due to various reasons. That pineapple-headed uncle is actually dead too. Hoo. Luffy was breathing heavily, his eyes shrinking wildly as he looked at the nearly invincible figure in the sky, but he still wasn't discouraged in the slightest. Ace, I'm here to save you. On the execution platform, the soldier in charge of executing Ace, pretended to be Mr. 3, was already sweating profusely. At this moment, he was yelling crazily in his heart, stop yelling. If you get targeted by the marine god of killing in the sky, you'll be doomed. Ding. Congratulations to host for successfully injecting 100,000 points of 100 million level bounty value. Spell reversal he upgraded to LV5. Ding. Congratulations to host for successfully injecting 100,000 points of billion level bounty value. Technique 8 has been upgraded to LV5. Ding. It is detected that multiple host skills have reached LV5. Unlock skill upgrade rewards. Random prize pool draw. Ding. Congratulations to host for getting the alien summoning card 1 legendary level. Oh, what is this? The corner of Kurosawa's mouth curled up, as if he had picked up something terrible. Go on, add more. Ding. Congratulations to host for successfully injecting 100,000 points of 100 million level bounty value. 80 Dao Pulse has been upgraded to LV5. Remaining 100 million level bounty value, 15,100 points. Tisk, gone again. Kurosawa sighed, the cost is getting bigger and bigger. It's a pity that Douglas Bullet and this group of Shichibukai, now that Marine has withdrawn the bounty on them, there is not much value in killing them. Do we have to wait until Luffy blows up the world and the bounty increases? Immediately, Kurosawa thought of something and looked towards the execution platform, his eyes lit up. By the way, the system, can you let Sengoku issue an order to arrest these guys on the spot? Shichibukai really can't do it. That bullet can definitely put a reward on it. Ding. Da. The reward value determined by the system must be approved by the world government, approved by the Marine Fleet Admiral, and finally the Marine Reward Department issues a reward order to be valid. Kurosawa. Ding. It is detected that the host's lack of clear explanation of system functions affects the host's happiness, triggering a special compensation reward. Ding. Special compensation rewards have been distributed to the system space, please check carefully. Hearing the sound of the system, Kurosawa was stunned for a moment. Is there such a good thing? Well, everything makes sense. Feeling happy again. His blue eyes swept across the battlefield. Monkey D, Luffy, Blackbeard Teach, Douglas Bullet, Keisha Jinbei, all of them are trying to cause destruction in Marineland. With a sigh, Kurosawa decided to collect as much bounty value as possible before these people did. He raised his finger and pointed it at the captain of the 12th Division of the Whitebeard Pirates. The Scarlet Curse power condensed and then blasted out instantly. Even if LV5 spell reversal he is instantaneous, its power and speed have exceeded the defense range of the captain's. Boom. A terrifying explosion came out, and the powerful air wave even overturned Straw Hat Luffy in the distance. This scene was seen by Boya Hancock, who had been paying attention to Luffy's actions. The suppressed emotions in her heart broke out at this moment. You actually attacked Luffy again. I will definitely make you pay the price. Ding. Congratulations to host for successfully killing Hal Tower, obtaining a billion level bounty value of 33,200 points. In the air, Kurosawa blew his fingers, showing satisfaction. In the eyes of the pirates, Kurosawa looked like a devil. Captain Halta, what kind of monster is this guy? He actually killed the captain instantly with one blow. After defeating Dad and the others, he still has such terrifying fighting power. He won't even be tired. Jinbei, Crocodile and other powerful men also noticed this scene, with cold sweat oozing out from their foreheads. Even if the general is stopped, Marine still has such a monster, is there really any point in this war? Gia ha ha ha. Warring States. Lousy is here. Dark Acupoint. With an evil laugh, the power of darkness like ink turned into a tide and gushed out crazily from under Blackbeard's palm, sweeping away the road ahead. This guy is Teach, Warring States said angrily, how dare you rebel? At this time, Blackbeard Teach was also amazed after learning about the situation on the battlefield, but for the shock fruit, which was crucial to his plan, he had a reason to come. Gia ha ha ha. Kurosawa. Blackbeard Teach looked into the air, and a slim figure suddenly jumped up. Seeing this, Teach couldn't help but wonder, the Pirate Empress. Why did that get involved? Unforgivable. If you hurt Luffy. Big fragrant feet. With a scream, the unparalleled domineering energy wrapped around the white leg, combined with a large amount of devil fruit power, would turn it into a stone and smash it into pieces at the slightest touch. Kurosawa looked at the snowy white that was getting closer and closer, with a cold expression on his face. I told you, but you still dare to take action, you already have a way to kill yourself. Buzz buzz. Scarlet rays of light gathered, and the next second, boom. Terrifying explosions spread in the sky. Luffy looked up at the falling figure in the sky, Hancock. Then, Luffy's pupils suddenly shrank. I saw Kurosawa's figure flashing above the fallen Boya Hancock, and then with the horror on the latter's pretty face, the bloody killing curse lighted up on the dark blade. 80 Dao Pulse. Fang. The dark red blood blade that gathered a large amount of strange killing curse power quickly enlarged in Boya Hancock's eyes, and the arc surrounding it exploded and sputtered like an electromagnetic pulse. Under Straw Hat Luffy's stagnant gaze, he instantly penetrated Boya Hancock's body. The power of the dark red blood blade remains undiminished as it plunges straight into the earth. Jung. Ding. Congratulations host. Chapter 66 New Life Choices. Why did Colonel Kurosawa suddenly start a fight with Boya Hancock? Yeah, isn't she a Shichibukai? What a fart. This woman didn't see that she used her beauty and status to attack us and our children without restraint. In the darkness in the distance, the black-bearded Teach looked at Boya Hancock's body in the sky, his eyes emitted evil light, and he chuckled, Gia ha ha ha. From time to time. Pirate Empress, if you die like this, I'll take your fruit as well. Blackbeard Teach showed jagged teeth in his mouth, and with several of his men, he slowly and quickly began to approach Whitebeard's body. Bullet, it's up to you. This Teach, what's his purpose here? It can't be to rescue Ace, right? On the execution platform, Warring States frowned, his eyes scanning all over the battlefield. And that pirate empress, she's really a head-scratcher. Seeing the violent roar and explosion in the sky, Sengoku already acquiesced to Kurosawa's actions. It was just a Shichibukai, so just kill him. Whitebeard was dead anyway, and the general could completely free his hands. Marine was no longer there. They are needed. Even without these people, Marine, who represents justice, can still win this war in the name of justice. As Warring States and others watched, Kurosawa's figure flashed above Boya Hancock. The latter originally wanted to say harsh words, but with her keen sense, she immediately noticed Kurosawa's naked murderous intention. You man actually wants to kill me. I just want to teach you a trivial lesson. Boya Hancock's eyes shrank crazily as the cursed red light lit up, and the attacks gathered on the knife were definitely a force that could endanger her life. The white fingers opened the pink charming heart in front of Boya Hancock's huge, evil. Even if the charming power that spread out instantly was not felt personally, it was only through the spread that it was affected by Marine, or the pirate's eyes have jumped out of his heart. Even the unlucky ones who were not careful were directly petrified by this force. Boya Hancock, who has fully activated his devil fruit ability, has reached the highest point of his own charm. Boya Hancock was very confident. If he were the Lieutenant General Flying Squirrel back then and faced this move, even if he inserted a knife into his hand to drive away distracting thoughts with pain, it would still be of no avail. However, Boya Hancock saw a scene that shocked her beyond measure. Kurosawa's hair was dancing in the wind, her blue eyes were not wavered in the slightest by her devil fruit ability, and the scarlet magic power flashing on the dark blade was gathering faster and faster. Who is this man? Boya Hancock couldn't help but feel horrified. She hadn't been able to use her move yet. After all, the huge charming love she had condensed was already her limit in such a short period of time. Kurosawa's combo speed is so fast. The next moment, Fang. The power of the 8. Hidao pulse was fully charged, and it exploded at an unknown speed even faster than Porosalino's laser. The dark red light of the curse tore through the air in an instant, and the devil fruit heart that Boya Hancock used with all his strength was directly broken open as if it were made of paper. Then, under the gaze of those pupils that shrank into needles, the delicate body is instantly penetrated. The extreme pain spread throughout Boya Hancock's whole body in an instant. Straw Hat Luffy below could clearly see that after the 8 Hector pulses penetrated the former's body, the delicate body began to violently trembling and beating. Hancock, what did you fool do to her? Straw Hat Luffy's face was filled with anger for a moment, but before he could react. Boom! The dark red blood blade of the 8. Hidao, whose pulse increased, had already penetrated straight into the ground, and the terrifying power fluctuations rolled out crazily, knocking all the soldiers and Straw Hat Luffy far away, and finally fell heavily to the ground. Kebi in the distance looked at this scene with despair on his face. He covered his broken arm and murmured, how could this happen? Even such a strong senior Luffy was blown away by this guy, this monster. In the sky, Boya Hancock's body was frozen in midair by the dark red blood blade. After a violent tremor, the vitality in her pupils was on the verge of dissipating. Aha! Hancock. On the ground, Straw Hat Luffy climbed up with difficulty. He looked at the figure in the sky. His benefactor who had helped him so much in the process of rescuing Ace was wanted by this guy, injury. Just like when we were in Sabayati, everyone was attracted by this guy. At this moment, Straw Hat Luffy felt that deep sense of powerlessness again after a few days. Hiss. A large pink python with domineering energy wrapped around its body actually made an S-shaped movement in the air and quickly killed Kurosawa. What a domineering python! Kurosawa smiled slightly and put his hand on Boya Hancock's head. Under careful control, the severe painful stimulation allowed the dying Boya Hancock to briefly regain his vision. Then, in Boya Hancock's confused eyes, the pink python that had been accompanying her day and night was instantly broken into dozens of pieces, the bright red blood spurted into blood mist, and her vision was blurred by anger. It's your choice. The cold voice echoed in Boya Hancock's ears like a devil's whisper. Before the latter could express his anger, Kurosawa grabbed her head and slammed it down to the ground. Bang! The rock cracked, and blood continued to flow out. Boa Hancock was no longer heard, and now Shichibukai, the king of Amazon Lily Country, and the generation of pirate empress came to an end. Hancock! Straw Hat Luffy roared angrily, his nails digging deeply into his flesh due to excessive force. The remaining Shichibukai couldn't help but feel chills running down their spines when they saw this scene. This Kurosawa actually dared to kill Boya Hancock. He was a pirate under his command recognized by the government. Fu, can this be considered a confrontation with the world government? Doflamingo looked playful. Jinbei's expression was solemn. This person's strength is a bit too tricky. Gia haha. Well done, Kurosawa, it's a pity that there is such a big blood hole. Blackbeard Teach looked at the motionless body on the ground. On that slender waist, a terrifying blood hole continued to flow. There was blood, and there was still dark red magic power left in it, but it was mixed with blood and it was not obvious. Bullet's side will be fine soon. Stepping on Boya Hancock's head, Kurosawa looked coldly and said nothing. Straw Hat Luffy had already gotten up from the ground. He looked at Kurosawa with a gloomy expression, "Take your feet off." Seeing this, Kurosawa was slightly startled, and then he raised the corners of his mouth playfully, stepped on Boya Hancock's soles, crushed them a few times, and then pressed them down hard. Bang! Quote exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark quote. Straw Hat Luffy's face instantly turned red. It was at this time. Boom! On the battlefield of Malinfando, sudden changes occurred. Sengoku, Garp, come on, let me see if you have improved over the years. Medium Bullet, a heavy-duty robot that was completely black and exuded a terrifying aura, appeared on the battlefield at an unknown moment. After a loud bang, it flew rapidly towards the execution platform. Warring State's expression changed. This guy is the descendant of that devil. Why is he here? Gia haha. That's it, turn the battlefield upside down. As Blackbeard Teach smiled evilly, a tall figure like Marine's headquarters, Malinfando, appeared in the shadows, and his huge palm slapped hard towards the execution platform. Captain, the preparations are ready. Shiryu of the Rain slowly put away his knife, and several Marine soldiers fell to the ground. Ding! Host's current situation is detected. Congratulations to host for triggering a new life choice. Life choice 1. Face Marshal D. Teach and want to seize the power of the shock fruit. Chapter 67. I said, kneel down. On the giant tree in Sabayati, Rayleigh's eyes flashed crazily, looking at Boya Hancock lying on the ground. His eyes couldn't stop the murderous intent flowing. Kurosawa. The body turned somewhere, and Rayleigh's figure disappeared. At the same time, people around the world expressed regret after seeing Boya Hancock die. You really don't know how to show mercy to women. That's right, such a beautiful woman was killed just like that. What a waste. I don't think so. Oh, you mean the Empress is not dead yet? No, I mean, if I were there, it wouldn't be wasted. Quote. On the battlefield of Malinfando, Kurosawa looked at the red and warm Straw Hat Luffy without paying any attention. Instead, he was immersed in the sweet echo in his mind. Ding! Congratulations to host for killing Boya Hancock and completing the lucky life choice, the end of the Empress. Reward: 100 million level bounty value plus 100,000 points. Ding! It was detected that the host performed well, causing Boya Hancock to die in humiliation while making the children of the world feel pain. Get extra lucky rewards. Extra lucky reward. Super hardening Live Max. I'm super hard. System, can this thing be used in battle? That's it, it's better than nothing, maybe it can be used one day in the future. Ding! Host's current situation is detected. Congratulations to host for triggering a new life choice. Life choice 1. Facing Marshal D. Teach who wants to seize the power of the shock fruit. You, as a noble person, choose to intercept him and severely humiliate him with justice. Reward: evaluated based on performance. Life choice 2. Due to the huge pressure from the Blackbeard pirates, you choose to turn a blind eye, stand by and let them seize the power of the shock fruit. Reward: Angler LV1. Life choice 3. Faced with Marshal D. Teach's betrayal of Marine. You have a strong sense of justice and cannot tolerate it, so you choose to suppress the entire Blackbeard pirates. Reward: Dark God Aversion upgraded to LV2. Tisk. Looking at the options in his mind, Kurosawa was a little confused. The skill of angler sounds very ordinary, but in fact it has something. Simply meaning, after defeating a pirate and letting him run away, when you kill him in the future, the bounty you receive will be doubled. The doubling of Angler LV1 reaches 200%. Upgrading Dark God to LV2 is equally tempting, directly saving 300 billion level bounty value. Interesting. Kurosawa raised the corner of his mouth, completely ignoring the rubber fist that Straw Hat Luffy hit. Second gear, rubber machine gun. The rubber fist was faster and more powerful after being accelerated by the second steam. Even the iron block of an ordinary major general could not be completely defended. However, when it hit Kurosawa, the latter did not make any defensive posture. Let Luffy punch his body. Seeing this scene, Crocodile silently took a puff of his cigar, and couldn't help but complain. Haha, another marine who is about to lose to the Straw Hat. If nothing else goes wrong, the next scene should be Kurosawa being beaten away by Straw Hat Luffy, huh? In the astonished eyes of everyone, Straw Hat Luffy's fists rained down on Kurosawa, but the latter's body did not move at all. Garp, who had been secretly watching Luffy's actions, his eyes narrowed slightly when he saw this scene. Although he was older, he could still see that Kurosawa didn't seem to be using an iron block or some domineering defensive move. It felt like Luffy's attacks couldn't touch him. Among the few people who also saw it, Mihawk was surprised. It's really getting harder and harder to see through you, Kurosawa. On the execution platform, Mr. 3 shouted with his heart broken. Lemony Straw Hat, why are you provoking this god of death if nothing happens? Ace can't save him. And that big robot heading towards the execution platform is as handsome as my wax boxing champion, but are you an ally? Don't wait and beat me to death too. With warring states on the side, Mr. 3 was at a loss for words at the moment, so he could only secretly pray to warring states for some help. Oh, Straw Hat Luffy yelled crazily, completely unaware that his attack had no effect. Luffy senpai. Kebi wanted to shout, but his remaining cerebellum prevented him from shouting out completely. Otherwise, if the surrounding marines heard it, they would be the first to chop him down. Die. On the high execution platform, warring states looked at the figure bombarding the battlefield without saying a word. His eyes turned to the figure in black uniform. Just teach, Shiryu, why are you? The only response to Sengoku was Shiryu's sneer. Boom, boom, boom. Violent explosions are heard with every step of the medium-sized robot. Even if the elite lieutenants of the headquarters join forces, it is extremely difficult to stop it. It's unmistakable. This guy is Douglas Bullet. He is called the descendant of the devil. His fighting power is really amazing. His aura is almost the same as that monster Whitebeard. Isn't he locked up in the 6th floor of the great prison under the sea? Why is he here? The medium-sized robot controlled by Bullet approached quickly. Flying Squirrel and Huo Shaoshan looked at each other. They grasped the blade tightly in their hands, and the muscles of their whole bodies bulged, and the strongest domineering energy wrapped around them. Lieutenant General Glory. Buzz. The sharp cold light shot out by the 2 Marine elite lieutenants with full cooperation was generated on the battlefield, and the powerful domineering force roared towards Bullet with the sound of breaking wind. Where did all these trash fish come from? Get out of here, the person lousy is looking for his warring state's Garp. While Bullet was laughing, the medium-sized robot punched out, Chang. The domineering power of the giant fist collided with the Shuiliang slash, and then the Shuiliang slash began to tremble violently, and then exploded with a bang. It only made him stop for a moment. Seeing this situation, Huo Shaoshan and Flying Squirrel had extremely solemn expressions. The next moment, the body of the medium-sized robot exploded, but its huge size did not affect its speed at all. Careful. Boom. Lieutenant General Flying Squirrel raised his knife to block Huo Shaoshan in front of him. The terrifying power vibrated. Lieutenant General Flying Squirrel bled instantly and was then blasted away. Bullet's smile never faded. The constant fighting made him feel that the blood in his body was gradually awakening. The medium-sized robot raised its palm and slapped it again towards Huo Shaoshan. Bang! Huo Shaoshan, who was not at his peak state, was also unable to parry the powerful and heavy blow. He was slapped into the ground by a palm. Countless gravels were blasted out by the force. The power of the terrifying palm wind did not diminish and spread suddenly. He actually swept Straw Hat Luffy, who was attacking Kurosawa, into the ruins. Instructor. Miguel looked extremely anxious as he looked at Huo Shaoshan in the pit. However, with his strength, he was unable to rescue him in time. Under Bullet's ferocious smile, Huo Shaoshan struggled to get up, but the former did not give him any chance to breathe. The medium-sized robot's giant fist was packed with strong domineering force and he quickly struck down. It's over. The fist quickly enlarged in Huo Shaoshan's eyes, and then, boom, the scarlet curse power suddenly blasted out, blasting the medium-sized robot's body straight into the ground, stirring up dust and smoke several feet high. You actually gave me that bullet. Blackbeard Teach looked at this scene in shock. Unexpectedly, a black-haired figure appeared above him in the next second. Looking at those blue eyes, Blackbeard Teach suddenly had the idea of being invincible in his heart. In midair, Blue Eyes looked down, the corners of his mouth were raised, and his mouth opened and closed. Kneel down. Chapter 68 Ugly, if I don't kill you, I will have trouble sleeping and eating. Burn Yamanaka General. Amidst the screams of the marine soldiers, Bullet's medium-sized robot's giant fist was about to smash the flaming mountain, and a scarlet curse blast slammed the medium-sized robot into the ground. That's Colonel Kurosawa. Colonel Kurosawa takes action. Boss. Miguel looked excitedly at the figure with black hair and blue eyes in the air, his eyes flashing with light. Compared to the marine soldiers who were excited to see Kurosawa continue to take action, the pirates of the Whitebeard Pirates were even more frightened. The Blackbeard Teach, who faced Kurosawa's pressure, looked equally ugly. Teach didn't see the scene of Kurosawa killing Whitebeard, but the pirate Empress Boya Hancock actually died in front of him, and Bullet was suppressed by just one move, which all the lieutenant generals couldn't deal with together. The speed of the attack was extremely difficult for even him to react to. This Kurosawa's strength is simply not that much stronger than the Shichibukai conference that started that day in Mariajoya. Drops of cold sweat seeped out from Teach's forehead. His mouth was slightly open, and his brain was thinking of countermeasures rapidly. However, his crew members did not think so. Ha 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 ha, you fool is too presumptuous. Punch lousy. A strong figure wearing a mask jumped up towards Kurosawa. It was Blackbeard Teach's man Baz's Badgers. Kurosawa's expression remained unchanged while he was suspended in midair, but his palms were facing Badgers. A blue-white light surged behind Badgers, and the terrifying gravity directly pulled Badgers back into the air. What? Aha! With a flick of Kurosawa's palm, boom! The blue and white light swept Badgers into it and threw him directly into the ruins, causing a violent explosion. Almost at the moment Kurosawa threw away his hand, bang! A gunshot rang out, and Van Oka said with an indifferent expression, "Who allowed you to talk to Captain Teach like this?" Looking at the incoming bullet, Kurosawa didn't even blink. Just when Van Oka secretly rejoiced, thinking that Kurosawa's flaw had been caught and he was about to succeed, a scene that shocked him happened. Nani? The bullet stopped. Van Oka's eyes widened, and there was a deep look of disbelief in his eyes. He immediately saw Kurosawa's eyes turning to him. When the two eyes met, Van Oka's heart trembled suddenly. The next second, Kurosawa's figure appeared in front of Van Oka, and the blue and white magic light surged on Kurosawa's fist. The terrifying suction force was mixed with the armed domineering force, and then he punched out. Boom! The terrifying power spread throughout his body. Van Oka felt that all the bones in his body were about to break. His body instantly curled up due to the severe pain, like a cooked shrimp. He vomited out a mouthful of old blood, and then was hit by this wave. The power flew out and disappeared. Hey, hey, hey. Wait, wait, wait. Seeing this situation, the remaining members of the Blackbeard Pirates assumed fighting postures as if they were facing a formidable enemy. Only then did Blackbeard Teach hurriedly shout, "How can you take action without my order?" Kurosawa silently watched the performance of this group of people in his eyes. If he remembered correctly, the Blackbeard Pirates had the same interests when they were founded. If it really comes to a life or death situation, they will inevitably fly away when disaster strikes. Now it seems that their performance is indeed like this. Even though they all look like fighting postures, in fact, under the observation of Kurosawa's LV5 heaven-defying 6 eyes, the rest of the Blackbeard Pirates are all the soles of my feet are already oiled, and I will run away immediately if I have the chance. Kurosawa turned sideways and looked at Teach beside him. Interesting. Looking at those blue eyes, the black-bearded Teach felt something bad. He hurriedly stepped back and distanced himself from Kurosawa. The dark blade reflected a cold light that penetrated people. Teach didn't want to be hacked to death with such a close sword. His grand plan for hegemony was just about to begin. Gia haha. After reading this, Teach chuckled. Kurosawa. At least we have worked together once before, so you must be too cruel. Stop talking nonsense, Teach, I know your purpose. Kurosawa looked at Blackbeard and said in a voice that only a few people could hear. Quote. Huh. Teach's expression suddenly changed. Although he was extremely surprised, he knew that he was good at seeing people's hearts. Kurosawa didn't lie. Does this guy really know the secret of the dark fruit? Teach. Gia haha, I didn't expect you to know so much. After everything is done, I can fulfill one of your wishes in the future, how about it? Hearing this, the expressions of the other members of the Blackbeard Pirates changed one after another. They didn't even ask what their wishes were. Teach did not promise such a heavy temptation at the beginning. Teach continued, you can become a marine general or join me. In response, Kurosawa just sneered, you seem to have misunderstood something. Nani? Teach wondered. Kurosawa stretched out a finger and said, kneel down and kowtow to me 3 times, and I will let you pass. Quote. Quote. Ha. Teach's expression changed, as did the other members of the Blackbeard Pirates. Avalo Pizarro. Kowtow. Do you think pirates don't have any respect for themselves? Lafayette. Young people have some ability but really lack education. Catherine Diame. Such a good-looking guy, leave it to me in the end. Basque Chote burped his wine. Poison Q and Zhuang trembled. Shiryu didn't say a word, but murderous aura surged in his eyes, and his palm holding the handle of the knife became harder. His long-term sense of crisis told him that this Kurosawa is very strong. Although it is motivated by profit, at least face is still needed. This group of maggots gathered for profit couldn't bear to humiliate their own captain in this way. However, just when several members of the black group were ready to take action, Kurosawa made the first move. The next moment, Kurosawa's figure disappeared. In the horrified eyes of everyone. Whoa, an ugly head flies high. Chapter 69 My Rules Are Rules. Until her death, Catherine Deem still maintained her previous smile. Kurosawa's voice sounded coldly, I originally wanted to keep it, but it's just too disgusting to have you alone. A thing like Catherine Deem actually wanted to play with him. Thinking of that look in his eyes, Kurosawa would probably be unable to sleep at night if he didn't kill him. So even if this guy's bounty will skyrocket in the future, Kurosawa doesn't want to wait any longer. Hey, why are you so murderous? Teach's face was extremely ugly, and dark ominous power surged in his palm, which was his starting move before releasing the dark water. Click. Shiryu's sword was instantly unsheathed and aimed at Kurosawa beside him. At the same time, the former's back was wet with cold sweat. Shiryu was shocked, this guy's speed was beyond imagination. The remaining members of the black group looked at their friends who were chatting and laughing before, and now they have turned into headless corpses and slowly fell down. Boom. The head that was flying high landed on the ground. Looking at this scene, the spirits of several members of the black group have become highly tense at this moment. Several pairs of eyes are staring at Kurosawa, for fear that they will be the next person to end up like this. With extremely gloomy expressions, they just watched Kurosawa turn around slightly. Such a movement almost made them jump. After a moment, Lafayette whispered, Captain, why don't you just obey him? It's just a kowtow, nothing you can't beat. Duqiu and Zhuang were already scared out of their wits, so they agreed, yes, Captain. If you kowtow, your life will be saved. Avalo Pizarro also changed his arrogance, that's right, Captain, compared to life, face is nothing. The death of his companion also made the drunk Basque Chote sober up a lot at this time. Teach looked at a few people and couldn't help cursing in his heart. It's not you who are kowtowing. You keep your word, Teach said coldly. Kurosawa smiled slightly, of course. At this time, the marine soldiers and pirates in the distance looked at the conflict between Kurosawa and the Blackbeard pirates, and they were a little confused. I injured several crew members and cut off one man's head in front of him. Why don't you start doing this? Do you know that the guy who died just now was a great pirate who once roamed the sea? Katrine Deem. He was actually killed by that fool Kurosawa in one fell swoop. Quote. The dark power slowly shrank back from Blackbeard's palm, and finally disappeared. Teach walked towards Kurosawa. Shiryu frowned when he saw this. Teach. I have my own plan. Teach walked up to Kurosawa with a sullen face. That's it, that's all. Now Marine's combat power is obviously at an advantage. It is too risky to rely on a bullet and the Whitebeard pirates without Whitebeard to take advantage of the chaos and seize the fruits. And as time goes by, the chance of success will become smaller and smaller, and he can't delay it any longer. What does it mean to just kowtow for the dream in your heart? Boom. In the shocked eyes of everyone, Teach knocked his head heavily towards Kurosawa. What's going on? That Teach. Why are you kowtowing to Colonel Kurosawa? What the hell, you killed your own crew and kowtowed to the other party. In the distance, Kebi was originally expecting that maybe the Blackbeard pirates could kill Kurosawa, but reality gave him a head-on blow. What on earth is going on in this world? Ever since Kurosawa appeared, Kebi's life has never been better. Boom. There were two more sounds of the head hitting the floor tiles, and the skin of the black-bearded Teach even broke on his forehead. Seeing Teach kowtow, Kurosawa was a little surprised. My scalp is even broken, it's just a joke, you're too serious. Hearing this, Teach stood up, and the vicious light in his eyes that was about to go berserk was forcibly suppressed. Are you kidding? That's okay. Gia haha. Of course, I'm not someone who breaks my word. You can go over there. Kurosawa turned sideways and got out of the way. Gia haha. Teach had a gloomy face, and when he saw Kurosawa really getting out of the way, he felt a little happy. His eyes glanced at Whitebeard's corpse on the ground, and he gradually became excited. It was the power of an earthquake that could stir up the world. Teach then thought about it. If he could just get the power of the Junjun fruit, just kowtow would really be nothing. Several members of the Blackbeard pirates passed by Kurosawa one after another, their eyes fixed on Kurosawa from beginning to end, for fear that the murderous god would suddenly become violent. Only the drunken Buster Choate walked past Kurosawa, aside. Maybe he was drunk and blurted out, "Boy, keep a line in your behavior so that we can meet again in the future." Kurosawa curled his lips when he heard this. Who said you can leave? After the words fell, the steps of the black group members stopped, and an extremely powerful aura enveloped them instantly, as if they were being targeted by a Hell Shira. Their bodies were unable to move under the suppression of this power. What? Boom. With a scream, blood spattered, and a violent impact followed. One of Buster Choate's arms flew up, and at the same time, his body was instantly blasted into the ground by a powerful force. Kurosawa, what are you doing? Under the horrified gazes of the Blackbeard pirates, Kurosawa's lips curled up in a mocking expression. I didn't say, you can leave. Several members of the black group were frightened and wanted to fight back. However, Kurosawa's current speed had already exceeded their reaction limit. He just relied on the least lethal spell among many skills, Shun Kang, to kill several people in 2 places. Defeat them all within seconds. Controlled by Kurosawa, Kang firmly embedded his body into the ruins of the wall. In the end, only Shiryu and Blackbeard were left. Teach's expression was ugly, and the power of the darkness fruit surged out crazily. Go to hell. Dark water. Woo. The gravitational pull from the dark devil fruit was instantly released, and Teach smiled proudly. Under this gravitational pull, as long as the opponent has a devil fruit ability, no matter whether it is body elementalization or any other method, it will inevitably fall into his hands. However, the next second, Teach's face froze. In his stunned eyes, Kurosawa's body did not move at all. Seeing this confusion, Shiryu was ready to give Kurosawa a fatal blow when he sucked Teach's palm, but what is the situation now? Teach, how? Before Shiryu could think about it, his pupils suddenly shrank, and he slashed towards the side with his sword instinct. Chang! A strong wind blew up, and Shiryu's sabers, thunderstorm, and darkness collided and caused a lot of sparks. Feeling the opponent's terrifying swordsmanship, Kurosawa smiled slightly. Shiryu's strength was even higher than Beasta. Presumably these guys will set a good bounty in the future. Captain, let me help you. A voice came from the sky, and the huge palm of San Juan Wolf struck down with one blow. Like a blow from a mountain, the air was squeezed out and bursts of wind were heard, which clearly shows how terrifying its power is. Teach looked at the falling shadow and his expression changed drastically. Hey, hey, hey. Are you an idiot? If this continues, even Lousy will be beaten to death by you. Whoa, Kurosawa's figure disappeared, and when he reappeared, he was already in midair, his blue eyes scanning the huge figure in the sky. I almost forgot, there is you. Spell reversal H. 3 scarlet rays of light flashed at the fingertips, one of which shot high into the sky, and the other 2 shot towards Shiryu. On the ground, Teach and Shiryu were shrouded in red light, and the scarlet light reflected the changes in their complexions extremely clearly. Boom, boom. After the violent explosion, why does it hurt so much? It was obviously only a little affected. Teach tossed and turned in the ruins, foaming at the mouth. Later, during Buggy's real-time broadcast, under the attention of the world, Kurosawa's figure appeared next to Teach. Out of kindness, Kurosawa put his foot on Teach's face to help him stabilize his body to prevent him from rolling around and getting hurt by sharp gravel. Ah, fool, you don't follow the rules. You promised to let me go. Teach even shouted in shock and anger. Kurosawa raised the corners of his mouth. Rules. My rules are the rules. Chapter 70 teaches soul control. That Colonel Marine was too cruel. He actually blew up that huge thing with one blow. Hey, do you know who the guy with the knife is? That guy is the deputy warden of the legendary Great Prison Under the Sea. How could he join Blackbeard Teach's command? Fortunately, Kurosawa took action. Now it seems that Marine headquarters, victory is certain this time. Even Teach Blackbeard has been trampled under his feet. I really don't know what strength these pirates have. I don't think so. Did you see that huge robot just now? What? That robot is indeed very powerful. Even so many lieutenant generals couldn't stop it, but wasn't it knocked down by Kurosawa with just one blow? No, you will understand as you read on. Douglas Bullet, who is known as the descendant of the devil, how could he be defeated so easily? If he survives until now, his combat power is probably no less than that of Pluton Rayleigh at his peak. Ha, really or not? On the battlefield of Malinfando, Sengoku, who has always been on the execution platform, looked at the overall situation. In the current war situation, the remaining captains of the Whitebeard pirates, led by Josie, combined with the 2 super powerful forces of Crocodile and Kaishia Jinbei, were able to barely block Kuzan and Porosalino, several times came to rescue. At the same time, under the orders of Whitebeard and Marco before they died, the Whitebeard pirates had transformed from the main charge at the beginning to covering Straw Hat Luffy on his way to the execution platform. Almost all the pirates in the Whitebeard pirates fleet have entered Marine Vendome Bay. The Blackbeard pirates, who were supposed to suddenly appear, actually brought criminals imprisoned in the Great Prison Under the Sea with them. Thanks to you again, Kurosawa. Sengoku looked at the figure with Blackbeard on Teach's feet and smiled sincerely. If it hadn't been for Kurosawa's intervention. The war has developed to this point, and the situation is probably causing even him a headache. Shiryu and the group of criminals imprisoned in the 6th level of Eternal Hell were easily eliminated by Kurosawa. It is unimaginable that Kurosawa's combat power could reach such a terrifying level in such a short period of time. Ha, it seems that the original rank of colonel awarded was too conservative. Thinking of this, Warring States turned his eyes to the huge robot that fell in the ruins. Heir of the devil, what is your purpose? But these are not important now. All evil will be drowned in the fire. The time has come to launch the wall plan. Following the Warring States period's command, rumble, rumble. Vibrating with violent sounds, extremely hard walls rose from the inner bay of Marineland. In less than 10 seconds, they had completely surrounded the inner bay of Marineland. Became an iron bucket. At the same time, on the huge rising surrounding wall, fully loaded super heavy artillery is deployed. The power of each shelling is nearly 10 times more powerful than an ordinary warship cannon. And now the pirates trapped in the siege wall have become living targets, allowing Marine to slaughter them. Give me the order, get all fired up, and fire. Boom 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 boom. Ah, Sengoku, the power of this bombardment is too terrifying. Are we surrounded? What's going on with these walls that suddenly rise from all directions? Hurry up and break it. It's useless. Ordinary shelling can't leave traces on it. If Dad is still here, there may be a chance to break it. Kurosawa stepped on Teach and glanced at the huge rising wall. Holding the script, he naturally knew that the defensive strength of this wall was not even broken by Whitebeard's shock wave. Ah, it seems your end is coming. Kurosawa slowly crushed Teach with the soles of his feet, teasing him in a relaxed tone. At the same time, he moved his fingers lightly, and struck the ladder with slender chops one after another. Under the blessing of the curse of the King of Curse, the crazy erosion of the curse slash left Teach's skin open and bloody. At the same time, Blackbeard, who had already suffered more pain because of the dark fruit, was completely unable to hold back anymore. Already broken. Ah, Kurosawa, can you let Lousy go? Ah, it really hurts me to death. The ferocious bloodshot eyes filled Teach's two eyeballs, and the severe pain compressed the nerves and even made his eyeballs bulge out, as if they were about to explode in the next second. In fact, under this level of pain, Teach fainted twice in just 3 seconds, but was soon awakened by Kurosawa's stimulation in different ways. And the muscles in every part of Teach's body experienced severe spasms under the extreme pain. Yes, spasms occurred in all parts. The feeling is like being twisted into a twist and then repeatedly pressed and rubbed on the ground. It's not too sore. Ah! Teach's mouth was filled with blood foam. If it weren't for the shock fruit in front of him, he really wanted to die like this. Ding! Congratulations to host for completing the first choice in life. Congratulations to host for making Teach feel the pain that cannot be cured in his life. The performance rating is S. Reward: Marshall D. Teach's soul control, the King of Curses upgraded to LV2. Oh, looking at the system prompts in his mind, Kurosawa looked at Teach at his feet and his eyes became strange. Marshall D. Teach's soul control. You can control Marshall D. Teach's body at any time under any circumstances, regardless of space and time, and you can erase his soul with your thoughts at any time. Seeing the introduction of soul control, Teach was no longer as disgusting as before in Kurosawa's eyes, but instead looked like an extremely loyal and ultimate workman. Isn't this equivalent to having one more 4 Emperors level pawn? Still the kind of die-hard loyalist who has no complaints. How delightful, Teach. Ding. Congratulations to host for completing the third life choice at the same time. Strongly suppressed the entire Blackbeard pirates. Reward: Dark and Divine Avoidance upgraded to LV2. Chapter 71. He frowned and protected everyone in front of him. Ah, does this count? System. Ding. The system's settlement is never wrong. Kurosawa was a little surprised, but after thinking about it, it seemed to make sense. The first choice in life was to intercept and then humiliate Teach with justice, and the third choice was to suppress the entire group. He did all of these. Great, he already understands everything. Upgrading the King of Curse from LV1 to LV2 requires 1,500,000 million level bounty points, while Dark and Divine Avoidance costs 300,000 points, directly saving 450,000 points in the 100 million level bounty value. Earn money. Bang 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 bang. On the battlefield, as the surrounding wall rises. In addition to Kuzan and Porosalino, there is also a vacancy for a general, and he appears to be unstoppable on the battlefield. Gulu gulu. The extremely hot magma continuously gushes out from Sakazuki's body. Every large piece of magma that overflows falls to the ground. The terrifying temperature can melt through the extremely hard floor in an instant. Monkey D. Luffy, the son of the most vicious criminal in the world, Dragon. With such a bloodline, you have become a pirate. I will never let you live. Sakazuki's eyes were fierce, and his astonishing murderous intent locked onto the running Luffy through the crowd. Let's destroy your foothold first. Sakazuki raised his hands high, and then turned into rolling lava. The red light emitted extreme heat. After his arms suddenly expanded, he continuously sprayed lava fire fists high into the air. Meteor volcano. After the lava fireball was shot into the high altitude, it fell rapidly under the influence of gravity, carrying more terrifying lethality, just like a meteor shower. However, the meteor shower created by Sakazuki brought not good luck, but destruction. The terrifying molten fireball fell, and the sky became dim because of the fire. The ice surface of Marine Vendome Bay instantly turned into a sea of fire as the molten fireball crashed down. Countless pirates were either torn into pieces by shelling, or were directly melted into residue by lava fireballs, or were stunned by heat waves and sank to the bottom of the sea. Their death was very miserable. Ace, if this continues, how can I save you? Straw Hat Luffy watched helplessly as the surrounding wall rose to block Ace's vision, and he beat the ground unwillingly. What is different from the original plot is that the Kuzan ice cube was too hard, which led to insufficient power to raise the surrounding wall, and the corpse of Demon Oz happened to be stuck in the gap between the rising wall, which led to the Warring States period. There are gaps in the wall plan. Now, before Demon Oz could even take 2 steps, he was already hacked to death by Kurosawa. Naturally, he failed to fall in the gap of the surrounding wall. Sengoku's plan was executed perfectly. The pirates lost their foothold after the ice was melted by Sakasuke's lava, and their situation was already in a precarious position. Not long after, Straw Hat Luffy's eyes became firm again. He didn't even have a moment to mourn for Boya Hancock's death, and his love to save his brothers immediately overcame everything. Jinbei, help me, I'm going to save Ace. On the other side, due to the rise of the surrounding wall, the real-time projection of the Marine's phone bug has been completely cut off. However, Sengoku unexpectedly said, "Super big show, the Clown Buggy, the first live broadcaster in the history of pirates, his phone bug live broadcast is still going strong. With ultra-clear 1080p picture quality, even every pore of the character can be clearly seen. Without Marine's line live broadcast to compete for resources, Buggy the Clown's live broadcast has become the only one. At the urgent request of people all over the world, Buggy the Clown instantly dominated live broadcast shows around the world. Ha ha ha, brothers, when Marine and the Whitebeard pirates fight and both sides are defeated, all the treasures will be ours." Buggy the Clown laughed wantonly. His goal from beginning to end was to make a fortune. However, his words seemed to have misunderstood the younger brothers. His men looked at Buggy's figure. Against the backdrop of the fire that was about to fall in the sky, that figure looked so majestic. They all raised their arms in emotion and shouted, "Whitebeard is dead, new 4 emperors are here to stay. A clown's smile can turn the world upside down. Oh 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 oh, what are you shouting about?" Buggy said with a changed expression. At the same time, he looked around hurriedly for fear of being heard by the white-bearded sons. However, after Buggy's actions caught the eyes of his younger brothers. As expected of Captain Buggy, he was actually ready for battle so quickly. Even if he is in a safe place, he never forgets to be alert to the enemy at all times. Isn't this the basic combat quality of the 4 emperors? Hey, what is that? With a cry of surprise, a huge molten fireball hit Buggy. The latter suddenly looked horrified, and then moved to protect everyone in front of him. "I'm so touched, Captain Buggy. Under such circumstances, you can actually think of training our reactions and combat capabilities." Buggy's face twitched. "Are you idiots?" Boom. The fire engulfed everything, and at the same time, on the surrounding wall directly in front of the execution platform, layers of dark purple vortexes spiraled like quicksand, swallowing up all items. Even the main wall of the surrounding wall was covered by the dark purple vortex involved. It didn't take long for the dark purple vortex to condense into an expanding robot. Inside the robot's body, Bullet looks ferocious, and the combined fruit activates with all its strength. Feeling that as countless materials and robots merged, the power of control continued to surge, and Bullet's mentality gradually returned to boundless arrogance. Ha ha ha, I didn't expect that Marine Headquarters actually has such good materials for me to fuse together. It seems that Blackbeard guy didn't lie to me. On the high execution platform, Warring States looked at the shrinking surrounding wall and lost his voice in shock. How is that possible? This guy's fruit power can even absorb the surrounding wall created by Vegapunk's latest technology. At the same time, the struggling pirates also discovered the miraculously opened gap, and began to rush towards the surrounding wall one after another. Rush, get over there. However, at the gap, a figure in red appeared, Gulu Gulu. The molten liquid boiled, and deadly high temperature burst out. Dog bites Gurren. The fangs made of lava crushed everything in their path. No one can stop this high-temperature red flame that burns everything. The remaining defeated generals, don't even think about getting past me. Sakasuke's face was cold. He stood alone in front of the ever-dwindling surrounding wall, which was like a chasm that no one could cross. General Sakaski. Akainu. Chua. Terrifying wind pressure came from above. Sakaski raised his head in shock, and a huge shadow had completely enveloped him. Super heavy artillery. As Bullet roared, a black fist that was bigger than the giant slammed into Sakaski with a strong domineering force. Boom! Sakaski's body glowed red, and the hot molten lava rose up and hit the black fist. A huge explosion suddenly erupted, and layers of air waves mixed with the sputtering molten lava swept away. General Sakaski. Under the watchful eyes of all the Marines, Sakaski was punched and left with nothing but lava everywhere. Of course, the consequences of the black punch were not much better. Half of his fist melted in that blow. Pap. Plop. Tisk. The molten liquid continued to drip down, melting through the ground. Bullet controlled the part of the fist with the molten metal to fall off because it contained molten metal. When he cannot continue to unite. Feeling the pain in his hands, Bullet laughed wildly. Ha 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 ha, General. The generals of this era are too weak. Dragon scales, counterattack, twin meteors. The dark red blood blade cut through the sky, and the clanging sound of the blade made Bullet in the robot feel like a ray of light was shining on his back. It was so sharp that he could not defend himself. Ding! Congratulations, host. Chapter 72. Don't worry, I won't die. Ding! Congratulations to host for triggering a new life choice. Life choice 1. Dealing with glass. Bullet is about to completely absorb a surrounding wall. The righteous host chooses to strike hard and successfully prevents it. Reward. The power of the shock fruit is upgraded to LV5. Life choice 2. Regarding Bullet's actions, the arrogant host dismissed Bullet's actions and chose to ignore them. Reward. Useful weather knowledge 1. Life choice 3. Host chooses to put Bullet to the end, and kill all the captains of the Whitebeard pirates first. Reward. Armed hockey upgraded to LV7. Closing square bracket. If we kill all Whitebeard's captains first, they will be too scattered on the battlefield, and Ace is still on the execution platform. We can't let him go there and execute him early, right? Moreover, Bullet is now constantly absorbing the surrounding wall through the combined fruit ability, and has almost completely opened a gap. Thinking of this, Kurosawa turned his eyes to somewhere, murmured something in his mouth, the dark blade in his hand trembled slightly, and then slashed out. With the blessing of the level 2 Curse King, the powerful and treacherous curse power quickly combined with domineering and sword skills. At the same time, it has a different effect from Susanoo's curse words. The technique and solution that Kurosawa used now not only greatly increased the power of the slashing due to the spell, but also greatly increased the speed of the slashing. Although the technique and solution are only LV3, this almost instantaneous slash can easily cut through the domineering defense on the surface of the Bullet robot. At the port of Marinafando, a figure in a black cloak appeared. From the beginning of this war to the present, except for being affected by the shock caused by Whitebeard and taking action to resolve it himself, Mihawk has not taken any action from beginning to end. His goal has changed from the initial expectation and eagerness for Whitebeard. The strongest one has turned into a corpse even after fighting for a long time. Compared to Kurosawa, Whitebeard obviously couldn't make Mihawk happy. Finally, Mihawk's heavy-wheeled eagle eyes saw the dark red slash cutting through the sky, and deep excitement showed in his eyes. The power is still lacking, but the speed of this flying slash can be said to be the best in the world. Fang! The dark red sword light bloomed in the air. Almost at the moment Bullet mobilized his body, the slashing attack led by the technique and solution had already cut into the surface of the combined robot. The strength of the armed color hockey has always been a skill that Bullet is proud of. His innate talent gives him a huge reserve of hockey, which is enough to support him in hardening the armed color hockey and blessing his whole body. Moreover, Bullet's armament color is hardened to such a degree that even if it has to cover a huge body, it will not lose its strength. But the moment he was hit by the dark red slash, his body felt an unprecedented pain. Aha! A low growl with gritted teeth sounded inside the robot. Bullet's eyes were full of shock. This guy's attack actually hurt so much. Bullet, who was born in a war country, fought in various battles on the sea, and was finally imprisoned in the great prison under the sea. The torture he experienced was absolutely inhumane. But compared to the pain caused by Kurosawa's slashing, the previous torture in the great prison under the sea was nothing to mention. It's just a robot that cuts into me, but it can also transmit pain to my body. In a flash of thought, Bullet relied on his strong fighting consciousness to control the fruit's ability to quickly change positions inside the combined robot when the dark red slash was about to cut his heart. However, despite this, the extremely fast dark red slash still left him with a scarlet blood mark, and the severe pain almost caused his combined robot to go into chaos. Fortunately, with strong willpower, Bullet managed to stabilize the nearly collapsed fused robot. That dark red slash, Colonel Kurosawa. Did you see clearly just now? There seemed to be something dark red flashing past. So strong. You actually cut through this robot's defense in one fell swoop. Previously, it was a defense that couldn't be broken even by shelling. Under the shocked gazes of the Marine soldiers, the dark purple vortex that was expanding a second ago on the surrounding wall suddenly stopped. After being cut by the dark red slash, the small mountain-like robot shuddered. It came to a standstill. Ah, this little monster Kurosawa is too strong. In the ruins buried in stones, the flying squirrel struggled to stand up. His face was painful. After being hit by the bullet robot, he was obviously extremely hurt. It's uncomfortable. According to the judgment of Flying Squirrel, a very experienced lieutenant general of the headquarters, Bullet's current combat prowess has probably surpassed that of the elderly Whitebeard in some aspects. That's why almost all the lieutenant generals joined forces and were defeated in the first place. But when Kurosawa faced such a powerful enemy, he actually was going to suppress him. While the elite generals of the headquarters were shocked, in the air, through the observation of heaven-defying six eyes, Kurosawa clearly analyzed the combined robot controlled by Bullet. It has good hardness. If it is inside the robot's body, it can also change positions very quickly to avoid damage. Kurosawa said softly, and then a curious thought came to his mind. After all, the level of spell and solution at LV3 was still too low, but it was just a test. Without thinking, Kurosawa killed Bullet with just a flying slash. Then let's try it this way, the technique will turn to Kang. High in the air, Kurosawa stretched out his palm, and a blue-white light containing magical power flew rapidly towards Bullet's combined robot. At the same time, after the surrounding wall was lowered due to the continuous absorption of Bullet's fusion robot, the pirates of the Whitebeard Pirates also took the opportunity to launch a charge. Hurry! Sooner or later you will be killed by artillery fire if you hide in the sea, why not rush over and give it a try? Countless pirates faced the blockage of artillery fire and charged towards the gap in the surrounding wall created by Bullet. Jinbei, please. Straw Hat Luffy's eyes were firm. Jinbei looked at the man in front of him who had created many miracles and said, "Do you really have to do this? But you will die." "Don't worry, I won't die." Luffy showed a smile. Seeing this, Jinbei said no more. In this top-notch war, he also bet his own destiny in order to save Ace. Phase, Dusk, Eye of Wisdom. Spell Reversal Kang. Maximum output. Hoo ho ho ho. The violent blue-white light flew rapidly, and before Bullet could not control the combined robot immediately due to the interference of Kurosawa's curse, it had already hit the robot's chest area. As Kurosawa chanted the mantra, the power of the mantra could be quickly mobilized even from a long distance away. This is the strength of the strongest modern magician with LV5 heaven-defying six eyes and LV2 Curse King. Boom! The terrifying gravitational force emitted by the spell Reverse Kang, which has been upgraded to level 4, shook even the giant fusion robot made by Bullet. The astonishing gravitational force firmly stuck to its body. Later, under Kurosawa's control, Bullet's combined robot was sucked off the ground by the gravity of the magic spell. Kurosawa saw this and flicked his palm, treating it like a basketball and throwing it into the sea. Wow! The huge fused robot fell into the sea, and a large number of pirates also rushed to the surrounding wall that was only a few meters high and had been absorbed by Bullet. Kurosawa looked at it, and the corners of his mouth couldn't help but curl up. In this gap, the pirates who are constantly pouring in are just acting as targets for him, aren't they? Chapter 91. Ding! Congratulations to host for completing his life choice. Successfully prevented Douglas Bullet from completely absorbing a surrounding wall. Reward. The power of the shock fruit is upgraded to LV5. Feeling the power contained in his body that could easily tear apart the atmosphere, Kurosawa couldn't help but feel a sense of joy. On the high execution platform, Sengoku didn't have time to feel happy that Kurosawa had knocked Bullet away. He frowned as he looked at the lowered surrounding wall, and reacted quickly and immediately ordered. All personnel, aim at the gap in the surrounding wall and use all firepower. The pirates must be intercepted within the surrounding wall. Boom, 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 boom. Continuous shelling and bullets shuttled across the battlefield. Following the Marine Fleet Admiral Sengoku's order, the Marine soldiers also turned all their guns to the gap. However, under the obstruction of the Whitebeard captains, as well as Crocodile under the cover of strong combat power, the Marines' artillery blockade, except for the super heavy artillery set up on the siege, basically had no way to effectively block the pirates rushing towards the gap. A figure with yellow on the left and white on the right appeared in front of the gap in the siege wall. The Revolutionary Army's lightning hands turned into scissors and used their devil fruit abilities to create a huge pedal, allowing the pirates to easily run up the gap in the siege wall several meters high. On the land of Malinfando, Shua, Kurosawa's figure disappeared from midair and appeared in the gap in the surrounding wall the next moment. Looking at the pirates who were constantly charging towards him, Kurosawa curled his lips, and the deep dark spell spread out crazily with him as the center. Rush out under the cover of the captains. Marines, prepare to wash your necks and wait for death. Amidst the shouts of the pirates, Izo, the captain of the 16th Whitebeard Squadron, held a pistol and fired domineering bullets, intercepting all the shells that kept flying. Yi Zhang looked at his companions who were constantly charging and hesitating in his heart. He couldn't help but look at Josie beside him and said, "Jose, tell me, can we still rescue Ace?" With the help of everyone, Josie has been released from the freezing state. After a brief warm-up, he entered the battle again. He didn't hesitate, there was only anger towards Kurosawa in his heart. Jose now knows that after he was frozen unconscious by Kuzan, Kurosawa actually cut his father in half, and later killed Marco and Bista. He, Chaozi, must avenge this revenge with his own hands, even if it means risking his life. Moreover, Josie did not believe that he could maintain his peak strength after killing Whitebeard, Marco, Bista and many other powerful men. He must have very little strength left now. Now is the best time to kill Kurosawa. Josie will never let down the sacrifices of his family. At the gap, a cloak of justice danced gently, Kurosawa opened and closed his mouth. The field is unfolding, and the demon-suppressing chef is under control. Quote, the overwhelming boundless magic field instantly completely covered the gap in the surrounding wall. Before all the pirates who set foot on land could cheer, they could no longer make any movements. Cut by dense invisible slashes, the pirates' bodies were like shadows meeting sunlight, melting and dissipating in an instant, leaving only the blood mist. On the battlefield of Marinavando, under the horrified gaze of countless Marine soldiers, the gap in the wall created by Bullet and the way out created by the efforts of many powerful pirates, including the captain of the Whitebeard pirates, have become a piece of cake. Blood red. That extremely solid blood mist, it is not difficult to imagine that if there is a living person in it, a large amount of blood can be swallowed with just one breath. That place that was supposed to be the escape route for the pirates actually turned into the entrance to hell, a hell passage paved with countless blood. It's so cruel. Countless Marine soldiers were speechless. Even on the execution platform, Sengoku, who was always extremely rational as the Marine Fleet Admiral, couldn't help but be moved when he saw this scene. But unlike others, Sengoku quickly adjusted. He was just a pirate. No matter how much he died or how much he killed was for peace, everything was for justice. Warring States looked at the black-haired figure and secretly made up his mind. Since Kurosawa committed such a killing for the sake of justice, he was not afraid of being stigmatized. If someone takes this opportunity to criticize Kurosawa verbally or in writing in the future, he, Sengoku, will definitely take the blame. Kurosawa, I admire your justice. Next to him, Ace screamed at the top of his lungs. He smashed his face into the floor, his face wet with tears. Don't come here. Don't come here again. Whitebeard's father died in the battle. Marco, Bista and other family members died in the battle one after another. Now the remaining pirates are trapped in the meat grinder without knowing it. This scene has broken Ace's psychological defense. At the same time, in the Marine Vendome Bay, countless pirates were unable to know what was happening in the gap in the surrounding wall due to their perspective, so they still rushed in at an extremely fast speed. Murloc Karate Ocean Current over the shoulder throw. Jinbei in the sea used his palms hard, and the fish manpower grabbed the sea water to form an ocean current, and then like throwing a javelin, he threw a huge stream of water into the sky. Straw Hat Luffy took off directly on the spot. What is this? Straw Hat Luffy, who was high in the sky, looked downwind, and his pupils suddenly shrank. The blood mist that seemed to reach straight into the sky was about to solidify into a sea of blood, and the man with blue eyes standing in front of the sea of blood deeply stimulated Straw Hat Luffy's heart. Kurosawa. Ding. Congratulations to host for killing MacArthur. Obtained a normal bounty value of 666 points. Ding. Congratulations to host for killing Mamba. Obtained a normal bounty value of 333 points. Ding. Congratulations to host for killing. Continuous reminders sounded in Kurosawa's mind, and his normal bounty value balance skyrocketed crazily at this moment. A bright smile appeared on Kurosawa's face. It was another great harvest. In the waters outside Marinefando, a huge pirate ship was traveling rapidly. The symbol on its bow was a white skull with a red mark. This is the red power number of the New World Sea Emperor, red-haired Shanks. Hurry up, something terrible seems to have happened in the war with Marinefando. In the bay of Marine Vendone, somewhere on the surrounding wall, golden light particles condensed into a yellow striped figure. Porosalino stood on it with his mouth slightly open, and his eyes under the pair of sunglasses looked at the gap in the surrounding wall. The blood mist formed by the massacre of the pirates was already so powerful that it had to reach the sky. It must be said that the scene was really visually impactful. Even Porosalino, the marine general, felt frightened. It is estimated that it won't be long before the pirates discover something unusual. Kakaka. With a flash of icy blue light, the power of ice poured out, and Kuzan froze the wave of pirates who had previously landed on the land of Malinfando into ice sculptures. Alas, Brother Kurosawa, your efficiency is simply too astonishing. With that said, Kuzan also walked towards the gap in the surrounding wall. Thanks to Kurosawa relying on one person, he actually showed the same level of battlefield suppression as a general. The pirates on the mainland of Marineland will soon be completely clear. At that time, Marine can devote all its high-end combat power to annihilating the pirates coming from the gap in the siege wall in the inner bay. Is this our Marine rising star? I guess we can't call him a rising star anymore. He's as powerful as a general. One person blocked that gap. This is our strongest Marine star. In the sea of Marine Vendome Bay, a large number of bubbles were spat out crazily. Haisha Jinbei stared with wide eyes. In the sea water, the robot formed by Douglas Bullet changed for a while and actually formed a drill-like submarine that shuttled rapidly underwater. Isn't it unaffected by sea water? Isn't this ability the same as Kuzan's? Sea hero Jinbei was amazed when he saw the bullet controlling the dive and starting to attack the land foundation of the inner bay of Marineland. Test, test, test. A dull sound came from the bubbles that were constantly floating under the water. The solid foundation that carried the huge marine headquarters of Marine Fando cracked crazily under Bullet's machine drill, and a dark hole was soon dug out. Tunnel. Bullet controls the robot and gets into it. Ha ha ha. I don't know what special material that wall is made of. Although it has been absorbed, it cannot be truly transformed and utilized until now. In the drill-shaped submarine, Bullet laughed. Through the ability of the fusion fruit, after merging the surrounding wall made of special materials by Vegapunk, his current robot's body strength has exceeded the previous hardened armor cover. You brat. Before I get rid of Sengoku Garp and ask about the secret, I'll smash you into a pulp first. Boom, boom, boom. Trembling vibrations with extremely high frequency came from under the earth. After the death of Whitebeard, Malinfando once again experienced a violent earthquake. Dark purple vortexes surged crazily within the foundation of Malinfando. As a large amount of hard rocks or various debris were integrated into Bullet's body, Malinfando actually began to tilt. What's going on? This feels like super vibration mode. Hey, I feel like my teeth are shaking when I speak. Whitebeard is dead. Is this an earthquake, or a tsunami? Kebi wanted to hold his ears with both hands, but found that he only had one hand left. With a look of fear on his face, he murmured to himself, as this war. So many emergencies. I can't hold on anymore. Quote. Kebi turned to look at Balloon on the side. Let's run away. If this continues, we will really die. At this time, Balloon was equally frightened. Just when he nodded in agreement and was about to run away with Kebi. In the shock of the sailors, the vibrations from the depths of the earth gradually became crazy, and the one that became more and more intense came from right below the execution platform. On the execution platform, violent vibrations were heard, and large cracks spread from bottom to top on the lower level of the execution platform. The two executioners were already staggering due to the violent shaking, and Ace was hit so hard that even Sangwo had to try his best to maintain his balance. What's going on? This shock. Garp, who had been waiting below, also noticed something strange. Before he had time to wonder, out of the corner of his eye, he suddenly caught a glimpse of a shadow from the sky, descending towards the front of the execution platform at an alarming speed. Luffy, how did this come from above? Boom, boom, boom. A huge impact exploded from below the execution platform. Countless thick dark soil rose up along with billowing smoke and dust. The platform that was going to be used to execute Ace was pierced by a huge drill from below, and the whole platform exploded. Sengoku Fleet Admiral, what's going on? What is that? At this point, all the Marines in the interior of Marinaventer have been attracted. Allah, wait, what's going on? Kuzan stopped and looked at the execution platform that suddenly exploded behind him, frowning. Buzz buzz. The golden cross flashed and condensed. Porosalino, who was tracing the outline, took the opportunity to cancel the 8-second charged laser, and then turned around to look at the execution platform behind him. Hey, what kind of noise is this? I see. A voice fell from the sky. Ace, who fell from the execution platform, looked up at the sky, his eyes full of disbelief. Lu Fei. At the gap in the surrounding wall, cold light flashed in the blue eyes. Kurosawa's figure was not affected by the slightest vibration under the action of the unlimited technique. Under heaven defying 6 eyes, at 360 degrees, Kurosawa had already seen Straw Hat Luffy falling from the sky, and Douglas Bullet destroying the execution platform. Kurosawa couldn't help but sigh in his heart. Even though he killed Whitebeard and many captains so far in advance, he was still able to save them. Is this the influence of the will of the world? Kurosawa flicked his finger, and 2 rays of light, one red and one blue, quickly flew out from the gap in the surrounding wall, and then landed on the sea surface of Marine Vendome Bay. Seeing this scene, countless pirates were filled with fear, but before they could make the next move, they actually saw 2 rays of light, one red and one blue, flying out again, and then hovering above their heads. At the same time, Kurosawa turned around, his blue eyes flashed with divine light, and he slowly walked towards the execution platform, opening and closing his mouth. 9 outlines, polarized light, blackness and statement, between the outside and the inside. The next moment, in the surrounding wall behind him, a dazzling purple light shone in the sky. The strongest record, unlimited virtual style is once again engraved on the battlefield of Marinafando. Just now, Kurosawa interrogation system. Are you in the system? Ding. I'm here. By the way, can you give me the billion-level bounty value for killing the captains first? Ding. It has been detected that the host has not killed the new Whitebeard Pirates captain, so it cannot be distributed for the time being. Isn't that right? You are my system. Don't you understand my strength? It's not easy to kill them. And Launuo was able to tie up the lone without a system in the Shinjuku decisive battle. I have a system, why can't I? Have you never heard of Wabe? Have you heard of Jingdong Gold Bar and White Bar? Ding. It has been detected that the host has misunderstood due to system vulnerabilities. The system has begun to upgrade and improve similar functions. Ding. Due to a system error that resulted in host misjudgment, the reward is hereby reissued, 5,000 billion level bounty value. Close black lens bracket. Very good, Kurosawa Yishao, he has a system, it is reasonable to get a loan, right? Give me more. Ding. Congratulations to host for injecting 1 trillion level bounty value. Spell reversal Kang has been upgraded to LV5. Come on, let's break through Marine's defense line from here. Marinafando surrounded the wall. While the pirates were still shouting, 2 rays of light, one red and one blue, passed through their heads and then hovered somewhere on the sea. Looking at the familiar red and blue light, especially the members of the Whitebeard Pirates, all looked horrified. This is the move of Marine Rising Star Kurosawa. You fool, can you still use it? Doesn't it mean that this move consumes a lot of money? Not only the ordinary crew members of the Whitebeard pirates, but also the captains of the divisions suddenly felt cold and cold. The one who is taking the lead at this time is the current strongest of the Whitebeard pirates, captain of the 3rd Division, a man who is said to be as hard as a diamond, Diamond Josie. Everyone listen to my order and dive into the water first. Before Chowzi could finish his words, he saw another red and blue light flying out from the gap in the surrounding wall. This time, the spell was reversed. Kang and the spell were reversed, and he happened to be hovering over a red beside the pirate with a nose. Buggy the Clown looked blankly at the red and blue light ball that was less than 1 meter away from him, leaving a drop of snot in his nostrils. At the same time, as Kurosawa chanted the curse words from his mouth, across an extremely long distance, with the help of the LV5 Heaven-defying 6 Eyes and the LV2 Curse King plus the control of the spell power under the LV5 Ultimate Extraordinary Blessing. Reversal of the spell. Reversal of Kanghei's spell. He suddenly increased in size, the rich spell power gathered crazily, 2 red and blue light balls rubbed and collided, purple light flashed with dazzling brilliance at 2 points in the surrounding wall, terrifying imaginary mass pours out. The face of a sand figure that was already close to the gap in the surrounding wall was frozen. The dazzling light made even him feel huge danger, let alone the pirates around it. Are you kidding? It's hard to imagine what a devastating scene it would be if that purple light detonated. The Straw Hat has taken the first step, I can't wait any longer. Jinbei, the sea hero, poked his head out of the water just now and saw the 2 purple streaks in the sky. He turned around and sank to the bottom of the sea without hesitation, at an extremely fast speed. It's better to wait. Buzz. The purple light engulfs everything within the surrounding wall, and the magic technique Kang, which has been upgraded to level 5, and the magic technique Reversal, which is also level 5, are combined to create the ultimate magic secret, virtual style Sheng, with no limit. Under the ultra-long distance control, the pirates in the surrounding wall were accurately positioned and blasted. The 2 rays of purple light came in tandem, and according to Kurosawa's cerebellum's calculations, their power affected the entire surrounding wall. Surrounding the wall, the shock wave caused by the purple light explosion blew Porosalino's cloak of justice into the sky, and the pair of orange sunglasses could not prevent the penetration of the purple light. This is really scary, Kurosawa. On the land of Malinvando, accompanied by the purple light soaring into the sky, the sound of explosions resounding in the sky shook everyone's heart. Under the purple light behind him, Kurosawa's figure was like a god descending. Countless sailors looked at this scene and were stunned. Ha ha ha, Laozi is back. Where is this? What is that? The rumbling sound made by Bullet seems so insignificant compared with this virtual explosion. As the huge head poked out of the ground, Bullet also noticed the purple light soaring into the sky, as well as the figure carrying purple meaning on its body. Bullet's pupils suddenly shrank. It's that kid. Ha ha ha, just die first. While Bullet was laughing, he was controlling the mechanical drill arm, which was bigger than the execution platform, and stabbed towards Kurosawa. Under the huge pressure, even the air was squeezed out with ripples visible to the naked eye, making a terrifying sonic boom sound. Kurosawa looked at the huge mechanical drill, and his heaven-defying 6 eyes completely analyzed the structure of Bullet's arm. The surrounding wall that is fused with Vegapunk, it turns out that it is much harder than before. Kurosawa, where are the generals? Colonel Kurosawa has just dealt with so many pirates, and now the heir of the devil is looking for him again. Boss, it's all my fault that I'm too weak to help you. Miguel looked ugly and deeply blamed himself for his own powerlessness. The other lieutenant generals were breathing heavily, but they were helpless under the violent fluctuations caused by the huge robot. Boom! A large number of rock fragments burst and flew. Kebi, who was running away, felt numb all over his body, followed closely by severe pain. Balumbo felt a figure fall to the ground beside him. He turned his head to look, his face turned pale. KB, your legs. In the pool of blood, a human-sized piece of gravel flew by, and Kebi's lower body was blurred. Wow, wow, wow. Looking at the huge drill that was quickly attacking Kurosawa, Kuzan exhaled a cold air and his body condensed into ice. Just when he was about to take action, his pupils froze slightly. That's it. Kurosawa felt the spell power consumed in a short period of time due to the continuous use of field skills and virtual skills, but his expression showed a slight smile. Looking at Bullet's domineering drill, Kurosawa held Yan's palm and slowly exerted force. The cloak of justice on his body automatically moved without wind, and the dark red light turned into a halo and lit up in circles, and the conqueror's domineering power poured out like an ocean. Crack, click, click. The dark blade is wrapped with black thunder and lightning, and the armament-colored haki and conqueror's haki are perfectly combined with the way of the sword. Dark God avoids. The next moment, Kurosawa's dark red blade collided with Bullet's mountain-like domineering drill. Chang! Purple light bloomed in the sky above Marinavando, and the huge purple spirit shot straight into the sky. Even the high altitude was rendered purple. Some pirates and sailors in the outside world were stunned when they saw this scene. An attack of this scale. Could it be in existence at the level of 4 emperors? Among the marine generals, there shouldn't be such an attack method. Ding! Congratulations to host for killing Atmos. Received a 100 million level bounty worth 24,300 points. Ding! Congratulations to host for killing the crotch worker. Obtained a normal bounty value of 450 points. Ding! Congratulations to host for killing Lincoln Homely. Obtained a normal bounty value of 900 points. Close black lens bracket. Ding! Congratulations to host for killing. A steady stream of notification sounds sounded in Kurosawa's mind, and the crazy increase in bounty value made the smile on Kurosawa's face grow stronger. The solidified conqueror's haki turns into a dark red lightning snake and wraps around the blade of Yan. Every time the lightning snake breathes out, the explosive power bursts out, which is enough to easily break through the defense of the advanced armed haki. Under the shocked gaze of the Marines on the land of Marinavando, darkness collided with Bullet's huge mechanical drill through the air. Chang! In an instant, a torn and twisted vacuum zone formed at the junction of darkness and the drill bit. Under the collision and squeeze of the terrifying power of the two, that space was gradually compressed to the extreme. Kurosawa's hair was dancing wildly, the smile on his face under the dark red light, and his twinkling blue eyes together formed a shocking picture, which was deeply imprinted in the depths of Bullet's mind. That arrogant smile and that shocking domineering attitude reminded Bullet of a long-lost legendary figure. Roger, how could you do that, you little brat? Bullet roared in disbelief, and his eyes burst out with bloodshot eyes at the center of the combined robot. Divine evasion. This move is definitely a divine evasion. But how could this kid learn such a move? As a man who has been challenged countless times, Bullet will never admit his mistake for the ultimate power he has been seeking for the first half of his life. And compared to the divine evasion that Roger used, although it was lacking in strength, in terms of skill, this kid was actually better. Are you the descendant of Roger? Impossible. He doesn't have the time at all. In the distance, Garp clenched his hands into fists, and the reflection of the dark red thunder was reflected deep in his eyes. You can't be wrong. I didn't expect this kid to actually be able to be entangled by conquerors. And with his level of cultivation, can he still control himself in this situation so as not to affect others? Garp was shocked. Even if he used Conqueror's winding attack, after reaching this level of destructive power, he would inevitably be unable to control the target and scope of the impact. But Kurosawa was able to do this. The Marine in this area did not fall into a coma due to the influence of his Conqueror's haki. And most importantly, while controlling the damage of your own Conqueror's haki, you also block the Conqueror's haki released by Bullet. Otherwise, with Bullet's Conqueror's domineering range, many Marine soldiers will definitely lose their combat effectiveness on the spot. This kid, boom, as the execution platform collapsed, among the ruins filled with dirt and dust, a key made of candles was placed against the keyhole and then inserted fiercely. Crack, there was a crisp sound of unlocking the door, and Ace squeezed out a smile on his gloomy face. Luffy. You kid, you are so ridiculous. Seeing that Ace was finally out of trouble, Straw Hat Luffy shouted happily, it's really great. Hehehehe. Although he went through all kinds of hardships and sacrificed so many people, he finally succeeded in rescuing Ace. Then all this is worth it. Seeing this, Mr. 3 hurriedly said, yes, yes. Let's run away. The Marines will notice us later. That's great Ace, let's go quickly. Straw Hat Luffy said the same after achieving his goal. However, Ace did not answer the question immediately. Instead, he glanced into the distance. At this moment, the confrontation between Kurosawa and Bullet's power reached the limit that the vacuum zone could withstand. The terrifying power fluctuations quickly formed a circle visible to the naked eye, shrank, and then suddenly exploded. Boom! Kaka. Representing the extremely powerful Conqueror's domineering dark red snake, it tore through Bullet's defense. Perhaps because after being transformed by Bullet's fusion fruit, the drill bit containing the material of the surrounding wall was not as hard as it originally was. It exploded crazily under the dark god of level 2. Can you block the power of this sword worth 3 billion? Kurosawa smiled, but the resistance that blocked the dark blade in his palm could no longer be supported, and an astonishing monstrous sword light came out. Crack, click, click. Impossible. Can a brat like you reach Roger's height? Bullet roared, but no matter how loud he roared, the power of his strike was eventually completely exhausted by Kurosawa's dark god's avoidance. He was no longer able to sustain the follow-up, and could only watch the monstrous sword light cut off his arm and quickly enlarge his pupils. Clang, click. The huge drill bit was split into two, and the power of the shining dark red center turned into a dazzling cross-energy ripple. The power of Enshenshi was not reduced much, and it slashed towards the huge mountain-like stone head. Boom! The dazzling light engulfed everything on the battlefield. All the strong men lost their vision after the power of Kurosawa's sword completely exploded, leaving only a red and white field. At the same time, a greedy gaze lit up in the darkness. Teach completely ignored everything on the battlefield. On this chaotic battlefield, he quietly approached Mohuzi. Jayahahaha. A huge black cloth covered his and Whitebeard's bodies. The penetrating power of darkness condensed into a vortex in Teach's palm, and he touched under Whitebeard. Give it all to me. Dad. Boom boom boom. Straw Hat Luffy and Ace looked on with shock as rocks and debris were shot randomly on the land of Marineford. This guy's power, why is it so terrifying? Straw Hat Luffy was deeply shocked when he saw this scene for the first time. He originally thought that in the battle at Sabayati, when Kurosawa punched him and knocked him to the ground, the distance between him and Kurosawa was the furthest away. He was confident that if he worked hard and settled down, he would be able to rise up to protect his friends. Go ahead. But now it seems that he has to continue to work hard to settle down. Compared to Luffy, Ace's eyes flashed with extremely complicated emotions. Compared to Luffy, Ace's hatred for Kurosawa has reached the point of killing him. Ace is different from Straw Hat Luffy. The latter was humiliated by Kurosawa at best and his partners were also injured by Kurosawa. Boa Hancock was killed by him before they knew each other for a long time. But for Ace, the man he trusted and admired the most, the man who gave him the love he lacked the most since childhood, died in Kurosawa's hands. As well as Ace's partners, the captains of the Whitebeard pirates, Marco, Beasta, etc., are all his family. Ace clenched his teeth fiercely. Although his reason kept telling him to calm down and never go up to die at this time and let down the sacrifice of Whitebeard's father and all his friends, he still couldn't suppress the anger in his heart. Understanding has never been his character. Bear. On the ground, centered around Ace's feet, circles of flames burned. Fire ring. The high-temperature flames exploded, sweeping away all the surrounding sailors. Ace, you were really awesome. Hehehehe. Straw Hat Luffy stared blankly at his eldest brother Ace, who actually defeated all the surrounding Marines with one blow. He was so happy that he obviously didn't expect what Ace was going to do. Luffy, you go first, I still have some things to deal with. Ace's face sank, his eyes fixed on Kurosawa's figure. Luffy. The smoke and dust on the land of Marineford slowly dissipated. At the same time, Garp also noticed Ace who had escaped from trouble. After seeing the latter's actions, Garp also had mixed feelings in his heart. Ace, what else do you want, you? This fool just got out of trouble, so he didn't want to run away, but he still wants to take action against Kurosawa. Master, stinky old man. Do you still want to meddle in your own business now? Hearing Garp's voice, Ace's body couldn't help but stagnate, and the flames condensed in his hand to attack Kurosawa were extinguished a little. In the midst of a huge ruin, Bullet was severely damaged and it was difficult for him to maintain his fusion fruit ability. All the debris that he had previously absorbed with his ability was vomited out at this moment. As a result, there was a mountain-like pile of ruins on the land of Malinfando. Kurosawa stepped on the ruins, ignoring Ace's murderous intent, and his chest heaved violently. The Dark God's aversion just now was the strongest attack he could perform, currently relying on the strength of the pirate system. The Dark God's avoidance worth 3 billion at level 2 was really going to drain out all his power. But if Ace really takes action against him, he won't mind sending him on his way. Compared to himself, Ace's life card, which was burning with less than 1/10, was obviously in a much worse state. Although Kurosawa is now lacking in domineering power, he still has a lot of magic power. With the blessing of LV5 Heaven-defying 6 Eyes and LV2 Curse King, his magic power is still enough to perform 2 arcane moves. Blue Eyes scanned Bullet's body. Ahem, kid. Bullet lay down among the rocks, coughing up blood from his mouth. Even though he suffered from the sword, Dark God avoided it, but compared to Kid's resistance, the giant robot helped him reduce the damage, and Bullet's own physical fitness was extremely amazing. Today's Bullet's combat power is not weak. Even if the fruit ability cannot be used, but with his domineering power, no one from the current Marine headquarters to the general can stop him. Under the observation of Heaven-defying 6 Eyes, Kurosawa also made a judgment on the current combat power of Bullet. In addition, in the previous impression, facing Wong Lufei in the theater version, after the island-sized fused robot was destroyed, it could still be used that ultimate devil form to fight Luffy. It's enough to see how extraordinary it is. However, this battle was quite enjoyable. Thinking of this, Kurosawa showed a smile on his face and said sincerely, "It's such a pleasure, Bullet, can you make me more happy?" "Ahem, little brat, where did you learn your divine avoidance?" Bullet stood up, his muscles all over his body swelled, and a dark purple-armed domineering energy covered it. "I admit that your conqueror's haki is superior to mine, but my armed haki is unmatched in terms of hardening and strength." After his whole body was covered with dark purple-armed domineering energy, Bullet's aura suddenly changed. His eyes were scarlet and he became extremely confident. A terrifying aura swept out, and he couldn't tell that he was the person who had just been defeated. "Besides, you probably won't be able to use that move just now." Bullet saw Kurosawa's lack of movement and became more convinced of his thoughts. At the same time, under the riot of genes from his bloodline, his emotions began to run rampant. "How can you, who has exhausted your domineering power, fight me with just your body and sword skills?" With a sound of boom, Bullet's feet erupted with terrifying power, and his body turned into a missile and shot towards Kurosawa. "It's your honor to die in my devil form." However, facing Bullet's attack, Kurosawa just smiled and made no defensive moves. "Colonel Kurosawa, boss, Alala." The extreme cold approached quickly on the battlefield, but a figure was countless times faster than Kuzan. Whoa! The scar-covered hand was clenched into a fist, and a punch was punched out with terrifying power. Fist-bone impact. Boom! The terrifying domineering impact and powerful force destroyed Bullet's offensive with one blow, and then slammed his body into the ground. The smoke dispersed, and a figure fell in front of Kurosawa. "Thank you for taking action, Lieutenant General Garp," Kurosawa said gratefully. "Don't say this, you have done so much for Marine, how could I just stand by and watch?" Garp smiled slightly, but glanced somewhere and continued. "You still have a long way to go, how could it end here?" "It's Lieutenant General Garp, so strong, old man." Ace received Garp's eyes, listened to the latter's words, and made a decision in his heart. "Luffy, let's go." "Okay Ace, let's fight out together." Straw Hat Luffy punched his right fist with his left palm and grinned. Sandstorm. Mulak Karate Ocean Current. Bang bang bang. A huge yellow sandstorm rolled up from the gap in the wall, and at the same time brought countless pirates into the land of Marinefando, and along with the huge water flow, the pirates landed together and rushed out of the wall. The explosion of Kyushu Shiki dissipated before the confrontation between Kurosawa and Bullet. At this time, the pirates who were still capable of fighting had gradually rushed up with the help of the powerful ones. When they saw Ace's figure, Ace is saved. The news of Ace's escape spread across the battlefield at an extremely fast speed. Diamond Josie, the current strongest member of the Whitebeard Pirates, rushed forward and saw the scene of Ace's burning fruit burning. "Everyone, listen to my order. Ace has been rescued, the goal has been achieved, everyone retreats and returns to the new world." Josie shouted, and at the same time glanced at Kurosawa, leaving only a deep feeling of unwillingness. Fire fist. The fierce flames rushed like a train. Even Lieutenant General Marine had to avoid its sharp edge for a while when faced with such high temperatures. Following this trend, Ace will soon be able to join the Whitebeard pirates' large force. Gulu gulu. The terrifying magma rises, rushing towards Ace and Luffy with a decisive killing intent. No, Akainu is here. There's no way we can resist this lava. Ah. Laugh. The terrifying red figure is like a battlefield Shinigami. No inch of it is intact wherever it passes. The extreme temperature of the lava burns everything. Under such power, whether it is a shield or a sword, it will melt at the first contact with it, collapse. Countless pirates faced this red lava and wanted to stop it. Only at the cost of their lives could they slow it down, or maybe they couldn't stop it at all. This is the most lethal power of molten berries in the world. General Sakazuki, kill all these pirates. As the marine soldiers rushed to kill him, Sakazuki's whole body turned into lava, and he rushed all the way to the land of Marinavando from the gap in the surrounding wall. Whether the pirates in front of him were millions, tens of millions, or tens of millions, billion, all were incinerated into Kurozumi by the molten metal. His eyes revealed the determination to kill, and Sakazuki's figure was unstoppable. In the blink of an eye, he was ready to meet Ace and Straw Hat Luffy. Carrying the most evil bloodline in the world, you must die here today. No one can save you. Emloculent karate gun wave. Chuang. A huge stream of water turned into a sharp spear in Jinbei's palm, and shot out towards Sakazuki's path. However, the latter didn't look at it, but the molten lava surged in his body, creating a streak on his left arm. The man-eating dog's head bit out fiercely at the gun wave of water. Laugh. Jinbei's water gun wave collided with the lava dog's head. In the blink of an eye, the water gun wave was completely evaporated. The lava dog's head only became half smaller, and then bit hard at the surrounding pirates, killing 2 unlucky ones in an instant. Of pirates turned into ashes. This guy's fruit is really tricky. Oops, I can't stop it. Jinbei couldn't help but feel shocked when he saw this, and cold sweat broke out on his forehead. His attack failed to stop Sakazuki from taking any action. Whoa, a figure passed by Jinbei. Crocodile. Desert Greatsword. Crocodile's face was fierce, and his physical speed was stretched to the limit. He controlled a large amount of sand in his hand to turn into a giant sword and slashed through Sakazuki's body in one go. Success. The pirates cheered. General Sakazuki. The marine soldiers looked shocked. Kurosawa also moved his eyes away from the bullet in the hole and looked at Sakazuki, who was about to kill Ace. If Kurosawa remembers correctly, in the original plot, Sakazuki was seriously injured, and was only able to stop him with the help of Marco, Vista and other captains. But even with this interception, Ace still went back and killed him. The current situation is that the powerful Captain Marco died early. Now only Josie is left with the high-end combat power of the Whitebeard pirates. Coupled with the injury suffered by Sakazuki, although he took 2 full-force attacks from Whitebeard, but compared to the original plot, his physical condition should be much better. So, since Blackbeard and Straw Hat Luffy can come here early, will Shanks also arrive early? Or is it Kaido, Big Mom, or a new unknown force joining the battle? Thoughts flashed in Kurosawa's mind. Ace might die anyway, but if he wants to kill Straw Hat Luffy here, Kurosawa thinks it's impossible. So given the current physical condition, should I use that LV6 Conqueror's Domineering memory card? Kurosawa was thinking. Sakazuki's body was pierced by Crocodile's desert sword. There was no expression of pain on the former's face, while the latter frowned and secretly thought something was wrong. Could it be that Logia's elementalization escaped my attack? After all, this sword was struck with armament hockey. Crocodile, who is also a Logia and possesses the power of the Shasha fruit, certainly knows that he can transform his body into elements, so that the enemy can evade attacks even if he uses armament hockey. Sure enough, Sakazuki's upper body, which was chopped off by the desert sword, flew out and continued to kill Ace, even faster. Click, Yi Zhang shouted as the bullet was loaded. Ace, come on, we'll cover you. Ace, who was running away, looked at Yi Zhang, and then nodded heavily. He had decided that he could not let him down. As soon as he thought of this, Ace's pupils shrank sharply. A flash of red light shone deep in his eyes, and he hurriedly spoke to remind Yi Zhang, be careful. Izo looked at Sakazuki, who was attacking Ace. He clenched both guns in his hands. With the blessing of domineering power, the Danzangan containing the slash was about to be shot out, but a red light penetrated his head at an astonishing speed. Spell reversal. Who? Kurosawa blew on his fingers, even though there was no smoke coming out, with a satisfied smile on his face. Ding! Congratulations to host for killing Izo. Obtaining a billion level bounty worth 51,000 points. Listen, what a delightful sound. Boom. Reversal of the technique. His red light ball pierced through Yizu's head and hit the ground with a violent roar. The remnants of the Whitebeard pirates looked at this scene with horrified expressions on their faces, and they all shouted in grief. Captain Izo. Izo. Who is it? That fool. Izo. Ace looked at Izo, who was slowly falling, and opened his mouth wide. He felt like he had a lump in his throat and couldn't say anything. Today, he lost his family. There are really too many. Father Whitebeard, Brother Marco, Brother Foilbeasta and Brother Izo, all died in battle. And they all died at the hands of that person. Well done, Kurosawa. You must not be merciful to these pirates. Sakazuki said, already less than 200 meters away from Ace. Marine. Diamond sparkle charges. An angry shout quickly approached Sakazuki, along with the sound of kuakua breaking the wind. Sakazuki looked sideways, and a huge diamond came into his eyes. The next second. Bang! The moment before Sakazuki was about to be hit by Josie, he swung his giant fist of lava. The diamond and the lava collided fiercely. The power of both was very terrifying. The intersection of the collision was due to the huge force generated by the collision. The high temperature of the magma exploded one after another, spreading out large areas of spider web-shaped cracks. Kurosawa watched this scene with interest. He has always been curious, can Akainu's lava break through Josie's diamond defense? Akainu. Josie's face was flushed red by the light of the lava fire. At this moment, his whole body turned into diamonds, relying on his strong physical strength to compete with Sakazuki's explosive lava. Diamond Josie, do you want to turn into ashes too? As Sakazuki shouted angrily, with a bang explosion, the power of the lava was activated by him to become more fierce. Although Josie, who had turned into diamond, had not yet melted, the latter was also affected by this. The force of the force was falling back step by step, and it was almost impossible to hold on anymore. Boom! A purple figure took advantage of Sakazuki's unpreparedness and punched him away. Crack! A black ball of mud slipped from Bullet's fist and fell to the ground. It was the rock he used to block the lava. Are you really Roger's son? Without pursuing Sakazuki, Bullet asked Ace. Listening to Bullet's words, Ace shook his head violently, his face full of disgust. No, my dad only has a white beard. Roger's son actually calls Whitebeard dad. Bullet laughed, wiped the blood stains from his face, and looked around Marine fiercely. Get out of here alive and grow up to be my opponent. I believe that Roger's bloodline will not be bad. This guy is the descendant of the devil. Bullet. He will actually help us. Maybe there is hope. A blast of cold air was exhaled, and the freezing temperature even formed ice cubes in midair. Kuzan's figure blocked Ace's way. Allah, stop talking to yourselves all the time, you guys. General Kuzan. Aokiji. This is here too. It's the frozen man. Straw Hat Luffy's expression changed drastically as he looked at the person blocking his way. Once upon a time, he and Zoro Sanji, the strongest member of the Straw Hats, were defeated instantly by this guy. If the other party hadn't killed it, he would have sent it by now. Aokiji. Ace looked at Kuzan with an ugly face, but despite his anger, he was not afraid and stretched out his arms to protect Luffy behind him. Fire snakes of astonishing temperature were spitting out on the surface of his body. Luffy, get out of the way and let me come. Ace, I can't let you go today. Kuzan seemed to sigh, his palms turned into ice, and it formed into a huge frozen strange bird and rushed towards Ace. The ice cube bursts into the pheasant's mouth. Bear, the raging flames burned like a tornado on Ace's right arm, and then quickly turned into a huge mirror-like flame. The next moment, Kuzan's ice collided violently. PFF'd. The ice and flames melted instantly after intertwining, and the water vapor formed instantly spread into a large fog. Alas, ice can't help fire after all. It's such a tricky ability, Kuzan said. He actually blocked General Kuzan's attack. As expected of Ace. Let's take the opportunity to retreat. Kurosawa curled his lips when he saw this. Okay, it's happening again. Will the ice that can collide with Sakazuki be on par with Ace's fire? And it's Ace who is greatly disabled, with less than 1/10 of his life card. Garp stood beside Kurosawa, speechless. He just clenched his fists and his face was frighteningly dark. But Kurosawa doesn't want to be idle now, there is still a lot of bounty value waiting for him to harvest. In a flash, Kurosawa disappeared from the spot. Foo. It's really exciting. So what will be the follow-up direction of this war? Many captains of the Whitebeard pirates died. Doflamingo put his hands in his pockets and didn't even bother to fiddle with the puppet strings. He just started the show and became a spectator. But I never expected that guy Kurosawa, as a marine, would even dare to kill Shichibukai. Seeing Kurosawa disappearing again, Doflamingo couldn't help but start looking forward again. Foo, then who is your next target? Just as Doflamingo was looking forward to it, an arrogant laugh made him frown. Gia ha, be swallowed by the darkness. Warring states. The black curtain lifts and Blackbeard Teach appears again. A pair of eyes flashed with evil light, an ink vortex condensed in his left palm, and a white vibration was held in his right fist. He had been dormant for many years, and finally he got this coveted ability. Teach's heart was completely released at this moment, and he felt that the future world was under his control. All the humiliation I endured before was not in vain. Gia ha. Blackbeard, Warring States frowned, looking at Teach who looked arrogant and confused. Kurosawa also discovered that Teach has the ability to obtain the earthquake fruit. It is not a waste to work for free. In this case, then you want me to see your value, Blackbeard. The corner of Kurosawa's mouth curled up, and he began to control Teach with a thought. Gia ha. First, let's sink Malinvando, who represents justice, into the bottom of the sea. Just when Teach had a ferocious look on his face, clenching his right fist and about to shake the atmosphere and cause a tsunami, an inexplicable thought directly affected him, and even made him change his next train of thought without even knowing it. It's like he wanted to act like this. This is the horror of soul control. Boom. Teach punched the air, large cracks spread crazily, and then exploded with a boom, and a terrifying shock wave blasted out directly, killing a large number of Whitebeard pirates. Ding. Congratulations to host for successfully controlling Teach to kill Oxer. Obtained a normal bounty value of 444 points. Close black lens bracket. Ding. Congratulations to host for successfully controlling Teach to kill the original gentleman. Obtained a normal bounty value of 333 points. Ding. Congratulations to host for successfully controlling Teach. Listening to the voice of the system in his mind, Kurosawa was slightly stunned. Oh, can it still be calculated like this? The person who controls Blackbeard to kill can also get the bounty value for himself, and there is no deduction or anything. He has really become his ultimate worker. Kurosawa had a strange look on his face and slowed down his movements. Wouldn't it be much easier if he did this? Very good, let's go on a killing spree, Teach. Sengoku looked at Teach, who had just laughed wildly and said he was going to sink Marinavando, and immediately went to help Marine kill the enemy. His face was a little confused, but he didn't say much, and just stared at his old friend Garp. If nothing else goes wrong, Ace will soon die at the hands of others. Sengoku is very worried that Garp will impulsively do something irreversible because of this, and he must stop it in time. Boom, boom, boom. Terrifying shock waves were blasted out one after another. Every time Teach punched, it brought a devastating blow to the pirates of the Whitebeard pirates. Blackbeard Teach, how can this guy have Dad's abilities? How on earth did you do it? This is impossible. Gia ha. Compared to the shock of the pirates, Teach had a look of joy on his face, immersed in the destructive power of the earthquake fruit and unable to extricate himself. Shiryu, who was not far away from him, looked confused. This seems different from what was planned, right? Didn't you say fight Marine? Bullet was also confused, and was immediately hit in the chest by a light-speed kick. Boom. The terrifying power directly blasted Bullet out of sight. Oh, Really, why did the criminals in the prison come here? Did Magellan also get off work early? Porosalino looked at his watch with a puzzled look on his face. Kizaru. Josie looked ugly. The ones who needed to be stopped in front of him at this time were Marine General Porosalino and Sakaski. Let's catch all the pirates first. Sakaski came over. Bullet's punch just now obviously didn't cause much damage. Yo, then let me deal with this guy, my abilities are more suitable. Porosalino looked at Josie and said. Sakaski glanced at Porosalino, knowing that the latter was afraid that after killing Ace, he might make Garp angry, but he was not afraid of this. For the stability of the world order, One Piece Roger's evil bloodline must end here today. At the gap in the surrounding wall, a place that is not very conspicuous. Lord Buggy, what you just did was so wise. Lord Buggy, are you planning to strike at the last moment, wait until the Marine generals have their flaws exposed, and then give them a fatal blow with the force of thunder? That's so strategic. And Lord Buggy could have killed the general directly, but he didn't. Maybe he was giving us a chance to show off. That's right. No wonder. I asked why Lord Buggy kept waiting, but I didn't expect that we failed to live up to Lord Buggy's hard work. Buggy the Clown. Listening to the cheers surrounding him, Buggy the Clown looked at the group of prisoners who had just escaped from Impel Down with a speechless expression. With such an IQ, how on earth do you survive until now? Forget it. The urgent task now is to take this opportunity to establish my name as Buggy the Clown. Thinking of this, Buggy wanted to turn the real-time projection phone around, but at this moment a black-haired figure appeared in his field of vision. Buggy's pupils shrank suddenly, and countless cold sweat suddenly broke out on his back. This handsome sailor with black hair and blue eyes is Kurosawa. Buggy, the clown with a frightened expression, stared at Kurosawa with his eyes fixed on Kurosawa. Countless ways to escape instantly flashed through his mind, but they were all rejected one by one. Why is this crazy murderer looking for me? Doesn't this guy specialize in killing pirates with high bounties? Yes, despite the fact that he has been busy with the War Live broadcast business. In fact, the smart clown Buggy discovered through keen observation that Kurosawa, the god of death, will not only take the initiative to kill those captain-level pirates. Other times, he just happened to kill a few unlucky guys while passing by, or he took the initiative to provoke Kurosawa like that stupid woman Boya Hancock, and the latter took action. So what does this guy want to do when he appears here? Does he want to kill me? The amount of my reward is not high, and it's not going smoothly, right? After thinking about it, Buggy the Clown still didn't think of the reason for Kurosawa's appearance here. Haha, Kurosawa, what are you doing? Buggy the Clown said with an embarrassed look. Kurosawa felt the fear in the other person's heart, smiled softly, glanced at the phone bug in Buggy's hand, and said, "Don't be nervous, I'm just asking you for a favor." Hearing this, Buggy the Clown finally breathed a sigh of relief. If this living king of hell wanted to kill him, he probably wouldn't talk nonsense to him. However, in the eyes of the men around Buggy the Clown, the conversation between the two turned into a different scene. It's amazing. Lord Buggy can actually talk to this Kurosawa in the tone of a superior. Yes, you know the strength that Kurosawa has shown now. He is already the #1 person under General Marine. This kind of person actually comes to seek help from Master Buggy. He is indeed the man we like. Lord Buggy, we will definitely follow you to the death. Kizaru, don't even think of stopping me. Josie's face turned fierce as he looked at Porosalino, who was dressed in yellow striped clothes. From the beginning of the war to now, this guy's injuries can be said to be the lightest. Even his clothes were not messed up. Ace, let's go. You need to inherit Dad's will. Leave the rest to us. Josie shouted, and at the same time, his body was covered with half of the diamonds. Porosalino in front of him also stretched out his fingers, and the dazzling laser began to condense. Is it a real diamond? I want to try it. The curious Porosalino condensed the laser much faster than usual. Whoops. A terrifyingly powerful laser shot at Josie quickly. What? After the bright diamond came into contact with the laser, it instantly refracted Porosalino's laser and hit the ground beside it, causing an astonishing explosion. Boom. As the laser exploded, Porosalino looked at the diamonds on Josie's body and clicked his tongue. Really, my ability seems to have been restrained, it looks like it will take some effort. General, Diamond Punch, Josie shouted and started to kill Porosalino. At the same time, Sakaski was still approaching Ace step by step despite the obstruction of countless pirates, but the latter had regained his composure at this moment. We must never live up to, never let Dad and everyone's expectations fall short. With this idea in his mind, Ace fled the battlefield with Straw Hat Luffy, but Sakaski's voice sounded behind him. Haha, a bunch of trash rats, they just caught the hostages and ran away with their tails between their legs. This is indeed the style of the Whitebeard pirates. Quote exclamation mark quote. Ace's face suddenly darkened when he heard this, but his pace of escaping didn't slow down much. The pirates were also a little stunned when they heard Sakaski's words. Is this just talking? Seeing many masters blocking him and being seriously injured, Sakaski knew that he would not be able to catch up with Ace if he continued like this, so he simply stopped. Sakaski took off his hat, revealing a square head, touched it confidently, then smiled slightly and said, "No, I'm just telling the truth, isn't it? The Whitebeard you praise so much is just a person who has been suppressed by Roger all his life. When he dies, he can only be a mere 4 emperors, a complete loser." Seeing that the marine generals were starting to run away, the pirates were naturally right. The captains of the Whitebeard pirates fleet began to exchange trash talk with Sakaski. "Huh, idiot general, what are you barking at? That's right, Akainu, you don't think this clumsy way of provoking a general is really useful, do you?" But after hearing this, Ace slowly stopped and turned his head, looking at Sakaski with a fierce expression. Flames burst out from his palms from time to time, showing the anger in Ace's heart at this moment. "Shut up." Straw Hat Luffy looked at Ace, who turned around, doubts on his face. "Ace." The other pirates of the Whitebeard pirates were equally confused. Sakaski was overjoyed when he saw this, and casually said, "I didn't expect it to be really useful to Ace, a stupid young man." After reading this, Sakaski continued in a stern tone, "Oh, the era of Whitebeard is just a remnant of the old era. Lousy died and his son ran away. How filial. Bear, bear." Ace's fists were flashing with flames, and he shouted, "Shut up." Sakaski refused to listen. After stroking his hair, he put his hat back on and continued, "A pirate with extremely bad moral character is still playing the same game as his family at his age. Shut up. Dad has given us a lot of love. He has given us homeless people a complete home." Ace yelled with a ferocious look on his face and stepped towards Sakaski. "A bunch of harmful sea garbage, bedbugs hugging each other for warmth, do they deserve love? What a joke." Seeing that he was no longer running away, but walking towards him, Sakaski's body was also filled with molten lava. Ace's foot shook the ground, and terrifying pillars of flame erupted from the ground, surrounding him. "You don't understand anything at all." Sakaski's expression remained unchanged as he swallowed lava all over his body. The ultimate destructive power was already brewing. "I don't understand, but only pirates understand. Whitebeard is just a criminal connivance who protects trash like you. You are not allowed to insult Dad. Dad is the strongest man in the world. He is the 4 emperors who rule the new world. This era is called Whitebeard." Bear, flames gathered around Ace's right fist with all their strength. Those who insulted his father must pay a heavy price. Seeing that Ace dared to turn around and fight back, the pirates were shocked and had colons on their heads. Even Doflamingo, the Shichibukai Tenryu who was watching the battle from afar on a ruins, fell silent. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.